Hey guys, so this time we are doing the final Tea Party, episode 8 Tea Party, and depending on how long this is, I might do the question marks hidden Tea Party as well, make it one last video, but it just depends on how long this first one is. The majestic witch of theater-going, drama-inspecting set down her pen, looked at the ceiling, and sighed deeply. The desk was covered with scattered mountain of paper covered with writing. Words were packed onto the pages in a thin, high information density language that only the great ones could read. Each letter of this language carried the same amount of information as several books in the human world. Those letters filled every inch of this huge pile of paper. Surely she had written out every little detail of some world. Yes, I have written it all, though to be accurate, I have not truly written it all. She stood up and sat down in her favorite rocking chair and rocked peacefully for a while. How far must one write before they can say they've written it all? That is what has bothered me in all my years of writing. The adventures of humans can be very interesting as a tale. However, even I still don't know when that adventure stops being an adventure. My old friend who is now gone once said that a human's life is an adventure from beginning to end, so there's never a correct time to sit down to one's pen. Do not agree. I think one person must put away the pen at some point. I believe one should write a tale to an appropriate point, then leave the aftertaste and opinions to the minds of the spectators. In short, the tale must be put inside a cat box at the appropriate time. The cat box has been the subject of this long tale, so it's not better to refrain from writing its demise to instead put it in a cat box and leave it there? Feathering spoke to no one inside the empty study. Of course, no one commented on her words. However, Feathering seemed to be hearing something. She nodded and grinned contentedly. Yes, I know. I will write a bit further, then lay down my pen. Then it will be time for us to say our goodbyes. Feathering held up a finger and spun it around, a signal that went to darken the room. The lights in the study dimmed. Would you mind letting me rest for a while? During that time, my cat, or rather my Miko, will entertain you. Ow, you suck. Can't you be less clumsy with that needle? Shut up. If you don't want to sew by hand, I'll use a sewing machine. No machines. I want you to do it by hand, so please just a bit more gentle. Ow, wow. I'll get better if you spit on it. Yeah, don't just start looking at me all of a sudden. I think this needle should be thick enough. This will hurt like hell, so you better close your eyes. 5, 4, 3, 2. Don't say that right before you start. Yeah! What the hell is going on? But despite all this, the two of them were truly close. Though Lemma Delta had been brutally dismembered in the final fight, she had survived, but unfortunately she was still dismembered, so Burkestel was sewing her arms and head back on with the needle and thread. The left arm, which was still waiting to be reattached, walked around on the bed impatiently with its index and middle fingers. Only the arms were left to do, so it looked like this would be finished soon. Then Erica returned, slamming the door open. I'm home, my master. I bought some sesame salt. Why sesame salt? You aren't planning to put it on tea, are you? It's Erica's toy. Erica, did you bring your chopsticks? Yes, my master. Great detectives have their magnifying glasses. Fruto, Erica has her chopsticks. Are you ready? Pour out that sesame salt and use those chopsticks to separate the sesame seeds from the salt. Yes, my master. Please watch my fantastic chopstick wielding skills. Yes, good luck. When you're done, make sure you put everything back in the bag. Are you still bullying her like that? How rude. I'm playing with her. Ah, yes, Erica. The mailman just came back with a letter addressed to you. A letter? I sense a crime calling to me. Don't tell me. I'll guess who sent it. The postmark is from heaven. It's probably from Delana or someone. I'm surprised you're still in touch. Just by the presence of this postmark, see how far Burkestel's reasoning has taken her. Hey, you can't do that, my master. Van Dyne's night is forbidden to have multiple detectives. Then you better get out. So long, great detective Erica. My master, how could you? I'm Erica. What's the truth? I still can't tell if you two like each other or hate each other. Of course we hate each other. You're the only one I love. How could you, my master? Lady Lemma Delta, it looks like there's not enough room for the two of us. Are you serious? Are you challenging the great Lambda Delta? Erica grinned and grabbed Delta's left arm, which had been walking around on the bed. I have here a lady Lambda Delta's arm, and here is a sliced open end of her arm. Erica grinned and wiggled her fingers menacingly. Wait, you weren't thinking. Let's see if my rebel can handle this. Yeah! Stop it, tickles! She tickled the inside of Lambda Delta's left arm. Apparently she was extremely ticklish there. Incidentally, the open end of Lambda Delta's arm had been cute, fluffy white cotton candy poking out. Apparently, her body's made out of sweet candy with a bit of spice thrown in. Put your mind at ease, as there's nothing remotely terrifying about this scene. Erica ran around screaming, I've defeated Lady Lambda Delta all by myself, just like my master. Lambda Delta's growled and hissed at her. Brooke Estelle kept on sewing, and expressed look on her face. It was a very peaceful scene. So, what does the letter say? Anything about Delana and the others have been up to? Gertrude has been promoted to full Inquisitor or something. Well, good for her, yay. Oh, in addition to her cat, she got a meowwoof now, too. What's a meowwoof? Well, you don't know? You're so out of touch. They've all been the rage lately. Even I got a female meowwoof a few days back. You can make awesome completo with them, too. I'm totally lost, but I'll make sure I'll stay far away from your homemade food in the future. Cornelia Sanes, during an Inquisitor exam, she found that she's really good at fighting, so she started combat training. Pretty hard to imagine her doing that, right? Well, there's all kinds of combat training. What's she doing? Looks like kickboxing and Chinese Kempo. Could that be Eva's influence? I'll bet she fight pretty good at staying on one leg. Good point. After all, she's been trained pretty well by a certain someone already. It also mentions Wilson. There's a surprise. Looks like Wilson hit big on the foreign exchange market and now is living a life of leisure on the income from its real estate investments. It sounds like he started playing badminton lately too. I'll bet he has a hellish coach. His butt's probably swollen by now. So what about Delana? As usual, she's stamping things, sealing things, approving things, and sometimes even signing things. She humbly asked us to start up a crime in her district so she would get assigned to it personally. Well, why don't we? Crime sounds fun. They say crimes occur wherever the detective goes. One of these days, if I feel like I might drop by to bully her. Oh, and there's also something here about the Chester sister, of course. Wait, I don't want to hear about it all at once. You've got a positive for a dramatic effect. Okay, that'll do it. Oh, I finally grew my right arm back. Do the left one now, please. Let's have some tea first, Erica. Bring in a can of black tea and a pot of dry plums. Yes, my master. With this particular journey over and done with, the Voyager witches rested their wings. It was also that it could leave on a new journey in search of the next fragment. A short break between trips backdrop by the pleasant scent of the black tea. Where are you going this time? If you go north, I'm heading south. Then if you go east, I'm heading west. I hope we can find another charming tale like this one. Next time, I hope you aren't playing the villain again, Byrne. You do? Bringing the bad guy's pretty fun. I wonder what kind of tale we'll find next, and what kind of tale we'll meet next in. To a pair of lovers, the Sea of Fragments is tiny. Children of Paradise. The Sea of Fragments is pretty huge. Ghost in the Shell. Woohoo. We'll meet again. When something else cries. Sounds good. Damn, it's thundering bad outside. Anyways, sounds good. Let's do that. We will meet again when something else cries. The happy voices of which faded into the distance. So long, everyone. See you again when something else cries. When they cry. Okay, since that was so short, I'll go ahead and do this one. Because there's been times where tea parties are short, but then there's other times where it's like an hour long each, so I don't really know. Let's check out the hidden party. Nothing I guess I can really add to the story at this point since it's over. Or maybe there is, I don't know, after decades. Is it going to move? Okay. the feature of what happened years later. I don't know. It was the largest banquet hall in the huge hotel. The many guests that filled the room chattered and applauded the person receiving an award trophy on the top of the stage. The sign in front said award ceremony from Japan's greatest publishers. Now I would like to begin the novel category. The winner is that fantasy adventure novel we all know so well. The story that started a worldwide movement that continues to grow in leaps and bounds. Sakutaro's Great Adventure. The projector from the audience showed a brief summary of the series. It was a lengthy fantasy novel that was already more than 8 installments long. The thrilling fantasy story told the adventures of Sakutaro, a cowardly Vegeta lion who makes friends, learns through his experiences, and grows in the search for one fragment. The main character's catchphrase, "I'll become the king of beasts," was even one of the candidates for the Buzzwords of the Year award. In addition to being a thrill to read, the books also contain many messages for children to learn from, earning it high praise as an adventure novel that parents and kids could enjoy reading together. However, it hadn't received such praise in the beginning. For the first 6 volumes, it went almost entirely unnoticed. But last year, when foreign translations of the series began, it got its big break and suddenly became a huge topic of conversation. Even before this series, the author had created quite a lot of works, but none of those achieved any public acclaim. However, after this sudden rise in notoriety, her previous works were being re-evaluated one after another. In that sense, it's probably fair to call her an author who went unrecognized for a quite long time. Miss Kotobuki, congratulations on your award. Your latest, Sakutaro Goes to the Witch's Island, was truly an excellent read. Publishing company executives repeatedly showered her with praise. Sakutaro's Great Adventure. The author's name was Kotobuki Yukari. Nearly all of her royalties were sent to a fund to support needy children, and she herself has served as the director of several protective institutions. Well, we all know who this really is. Some envious people try to call this fake charity, but the more that people learned about her, the more those voices withered and died away. Kotobuki Yukari, by now the name rang loud and clear across Japan. She sat in a chair, cheerfully chatting with people who came to greet her. Last year she was diagnosed with initial stages of cancer, and after her surgery her physical strength dropped sharply. Or maybe this is really talking about Eva? I don't know. Doubt it though. I don't know. What's going on? Because of this stand-in awards party, she was given a chair and sat down while greeting people. Physical strength of triple. Okay, because of this, even when a stand-up awards party, she was given a chair and sat down while greeting people. Some people lamented, saying that if only she had been 20, even 10 years younger, she might have left her mark in history as one of the greatest authors in the 21st century. It had taken so long for her to receive the praise she deserved. She could no longer be called young. Even so, her determination to write had not wavered in the slightest. The story had gone around that even during her stay in the hospital, most of her time had been spent typing away. She had always said the same thing, that she hadn't finished telling everything she needed to tell. But did she mean that she hadn't fully completed Sakutaro's Great Adventure? When that question was asked by journalists, this is how she answered. By writing even one more book, I could teach just one more child how to find happiness. Then I will spend the rest of my life writing every book, every page that I can, because I still haven't conveyed the precious teachings I was given. Miss Kotobuki, congratulations on your award. I hear the movie adaptation is getting splendid reviews as well. If you keep this up, you might even pass up Harry Potter's record. Is this supposed to be Harry Potter? Harry the Potato. It was the name of fantasy that had become a worldwide hit. Thank you very much for your kind words. It's more than I deserve. Oh, I forgot to tell you. My name is X, head of Company X's first editorial department. It's an honor to meet you. I hope we have a chance to work together sometime. Actually, Miss Kotobuki, I apologize for being abrupt, but have you heard of the novelist known as Hachijo Toya? Hachijo Toya, you say? She remembered that name from several decades ago. She hadn't expected to ever hear it again. Do you know that name? Have you ever met Hachijo by any chance? No, I have not. I did go visit once, but I was an unknown back then. And since I suddenly barged into the publishing company office, it's hardly surprising that I was refused an interview. Oh, I didn't know that. Could it be that you're a fan of Hachijo's work? No, I just wanted to find out what sort of person she was. I see, I see. Well, the truth is about that novelist, Hachito Toya would like to meet with you discreetly. To meet with me? Yes, not as a formal interview, but personally, off the record. If you're interested, we would be happy to arrange the meeting, but of course, this has nothing to do with the work. Hachito Toya wants to meet with Kotobuki Yukari, just like how I realized that Itoi Kukuro was Hachito Toya, and did she use my name to figure out my identity? The Rokujima mystery has been called one of the greatest social phenomena of the turn of the century. That uproar which dragged enthusiasts from across the world. Suddenly it subsided after an event held by Hachito Toya where she was going to unveil the diary of Ushomiya Iba, which contained the truth. Though she had set up the event herself, she then outrageously disappeared without releasing the contents of the diary, drawing harsh criticism for doing so. However, a very, very obvious feeling had been revived into the public sphere that they had been prying into the terrible accident with many victims purely out of curiosity. And so the frenzy surrounding Rokujima mystery has faded away quietly. Hachito Toya no Itukokuro, she caught the public eye as a forger of Rokujima mysteries. She claimed to have reached the truth and released the groundbreaking words of fiction one after another. She became as famous as the driving force behind the Rokujima mystery. After realizing that Itoi Kukuro was Hachito Toya, I went to her publishing company to ask for an interview, but I didn't get one. At the time, I despised her. Back in the beginning, I thought she might have used the Rokujima mystery as a publicity stunt to advance herself, but now I feel a bit grateful to her. If she hadn't refused to show the diary in such an outrageous way, the Rokujima cat box might still be that plaything of countless goats. She was indeed a forger who had toyed with the cat box, but I still had an uneasy feeling about her. However, at the same time, she was the one who, practically speaking, allowed Rokujima to rest in peace. And did she really reach the truth? And how has she reached something that seemed infinitely close to the truth, even from my perspective? Even now, after all these years, that's something I wanted to know. What do you think, Miss Kotobuki? Of course. Oh, shit. Sorry guys, my dog's in my bed with me and she leaned in on my laptop and skipped a bunch of things. So yeah, I gotta back up. Okay, we've already read this part. What do you think, Ms. Kotobuki? Of course, this is not an urgent request. I was told to tell you to take your time in the decision making. Making your decision if you wished. I understand this. Hachito Toya live near the city. I was told that a meeting near here would be satisfactory at any time. I see. In that case, I can ask you to arrange a meeting for us in a quiet coffee shop next Sunday. Yes, as you wish. I thank you. Thank you very much. I believe Hachito will be delighted as well. I have one condition. Yes, whatever you say. I'm not going to discuss business, so please refrain from sending anyone from the editing department. But of course, we will do as you say. Okay. Madam Hachito and I will meet alone, just the two of us. Can I count on you to keep that promise? Well, after that, we would appreciate it if you kept this quiet, but what is it? Well, the truth is, the works of Hachito Toya were written by two people. To the outside world, those books were written by a single female author, but there's actually a second author, a male one. The pair of them asked for a chance to meet you. As soon as I heard that, I felt a premonition. How had Hachito Toya personally no connections to the Ushomiya family managed to write about it in such detail? I was already feeling that premonition of a certain kind of miracle. Oh, I really hope so. Anyway, when I left on my journey, I had been in the name of Ushomiya and just stepped into the new life. By now, things had settled down, but when the Sumadera family was still a threat, I wanted to distance myself from that name. Thanks to that, no one was able, I just hit my mic. No one was able to get in touch with the new me anymore. However, now that Secretary's Avenger has caught the public eye this year and made the name of Kotobuki Yukari famous, maybe it's finally reached his ears. I used to play with a lion. I keep saying Leon because of Leon Ushomiya. Anyways, I used to play with a lion animal called Sekataro along with Maria Oni-chan. If those who know that's connected their name with Sekataro with my name, then it's only natural that they figured out who I was. The number of people who would be able to recognize me from that was very, very small. This person was also well versed in detective novels and a man. I could only think of one person who matched. After all, I knew just how many detective novels he had piled up in his room from the time his effects were gone through. It was almost time we arranged for our meeting. My heart was racing, almost like a girl in love for the first time. At the very instant that range time came, I heard the sound of the chime on the door, and they appeared. It was a man sitting on a wheelchair and a woman pushing him. My eyes immediately fixed on the man in the wheelchair, and right away I saw the traces that remained on his face. There's no doubt about it. He's my brother Ushamiya Battler. When our eyes met, he gave a little bow. I hurried to my feet and bowed back. It was somewhat exaggerated and silly way for a pair of siblings to greet each other after several decades apart. However, my mind was already blank. So Battler's alive? The miracle I waited for all this time was now a reality. Are you Miss Kotobuku Yukari? Yes, I am, and you must be Hachido Toya. It's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you very much for letting us borrow your precious time today. My name is Hachiko Ikuku. I am mostly in charge of the actual writing. This is Toya. He mostly handles the drafting. Though the woman who called herself Ikuko was far older than me, she seemed to be unbelievably youthful. It wasn't because she was good with makeup or dressed like a younger woman. It felt strange to say it. There was a strange mystique about her, as though she was immortal and never aging. Then I quickly remembered that she had introduced my brother as Toya. Pardon me for asking, are you two married? We are not married, but we have been together for a long time. True, looking back on it, it really has been a long time. My brother smiled as he spoke. When I learned that, at least for him, those long decades had been a period of isolation and loneliness, I felt an incredible sense of peace and relief. Before I knew it, he was staring back into my face. Well, I was just 6 years old the last time I met. It must be hard for him to find interests he can recognize. However, I'm sure he'll recognize something just the same. We kept stealing glances at each other and looking away like a couple on a blind date. We were both at an age where outside appearances mattered to us, even though we both knew we wouldn't let our polite exterior falter. This humorous exchange was extremely embarrassing. I thought it would be a fated reunion, that we would hold each other and stop tears of gratitude together. However, reality seemed to be different, but that's fine. It seems my heart will explode with happiness. Let's take our orders. Is coffee okay? What does everyone want? I prefer something that isn't so bitter. How about you, Miss Kotobuki? Oh, I don't mind. I guess I'll have a date? I don't know. How stiff we're all being. Even my brother seemed to find it amusing by now. We all know, well now, when she said that, my brother fell silent and sat up straight. Should I start, or should we start with you, Toya? I'll go first. I'm the one who pushed so hard for this meeting after all. As he spoke, he watched me calmly. I came here today thinking you might be a certain person. Her name was Ushamiya Ange. When I read your works and heard your name, I was sure that you were her. That's right. How long has it been since I last used that name? My true name is Ushamiya Ange. I gave the exaggerated bow, but I'd gotten so used to these long years. We both haven't aged, have we, Oni-chan? I whispered this in my heart. Now it was my turn. With a quick apology, I finished around in my handbag and took out a photo. It was a picture from a trip I took to an amusement park with Battler Oni-chan. I got many other pictures of us having a good time, but this one has the best shot of his face. I looked between him and the photo. There was no longer any room for doubt. Mr. Toya, your true name is Ushamiya Battler-san, isn't it? The hands of the clock beside me stopped. I wanted him to answer with a yes. Even though I was already for sure, I was still about to burst with tension. And then with an instant that seemed for too long ended, my brother answered, That's right. Unconsciously, I stared at my brother's face. With an unbelievable quickness, he acknowledged that he was Ushamiya Battler. My eyes immediately filled and overflowed tears. I took out a handkerchief and wiped them away, but I couldn't hold them back. Oni-chan was alive after all, so why didn't he come back to me right away? If he had been there during my darkest days, it would have meant so much to me. Normally he thought we would have made me curse my brother, but by now that emotion was softened. After all, now I was faced with a miracle being reunited with Oni-chan. Everything I felt before fell away with my tears. At this moment I was happy. I was never alone. I worked so hard for decades with that belief in my heart, and now I've finally been rewarded. By now I couldn't even stop my tears. For some time I continued to sob and sniffle. Watching this, my brother hung his head apologetically. Why didn't he come back to me sooner? It looked as though he was feeling regret for that. But I'm sure he has some sort of reason. He's probably here today to tell me about it and apologize. Already, just by him introducing himself to me today, was everything inside of me has been washed away clean with tears. I'm sorry. I must be embarrassing you. No. It's only to be expected. For several decades you've been waiting all alone, believing that your family would return. I did believe. I believed you would come home, Oni-chan. I held out my hand weakly. My brother slowly held out his too, but I gripped his hand. Regardless of how many long years had passed, it was without a doubt my brother's hand. Once more, I had to struggle to hold back my tears. Damn, this is a pretty decent ending. And Eva avoided the explosion incident by escaping the Kuwadorian. how did you escape the accident, Oni Nissan? On that day, I escaped through the underground passage. The one that goes to Kuwadorian. I was told that an underground passage led to a hidden mansion on the opposite side of the island. However, the place we escaped to was a submarine base, not Kuwadorian. I don't know why my brother entered the underground passage on that day. At any rate, he went to the underground passage, and unlike Aunt Eva, he escaped to the submarine base. There he escaped the explosion and survived. After that, I got away on a motorboat. However, it must be capsized somewhere along the way. It must have. Please forgive him. Toya suffers from memory loss. His memory from around the time he was drowned in the ocean is hazy. Could it be that he forgot he was Ushimi Battler for a while? That is correct. Yes, that explains nearly all of the riddles. My brother escaped from the explosion, but either his boat capsized during his escape from the island or he fell overboard. Afterwards, he must have drifted somewhere, wandered about half conscious, and probably got into a traffic accident. On that day, he was lying on the road. If she would have found me even a little later, I probably wouldn't have opened my eyes again. I believe he suspected that I was the one who hit you for quite some time. Hey, I've already apologized for that. That explains pretty much everything. Either because of the time he nearly drowned or because of the traffic accident, my brother's memory was damaged. His memory probably came back eventually. However, by that time, I had already stepped foot into my new life as Kurobukari. Only a handful of people, including President Okanuki, knew where I was. Even if my brother wanted to contact me, there was a very good chance that he wouldn't be able to. Ironically, the name I abandoned when I decided to live in the future delayed my reunion with my brother for so long. In that sense, I am responsible. I did it to myself. However, I'm sure I received the message my brother sent me. That message was Itukukukukukuku. I realized that Itukuku was a forger who claimed the Risha truth was actually Hachijo Toya. Then I requested a meeting with her through the publishing company to question her about why she was blah 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 blah. Then I requested a meeting with her through the publishing company to question her why she was so sure that she reached the truth. However, I wasn't going to their meeting. In the end, I heard nothing from them, and it's taken all these decades for me to meet with Hachijo Toya. The publishing company had only passed my message on. We could have been reunited so much sooner. However, at the time, I was just a bourgeois girl who liked to throw money around. Or they passed on my message, and I just barged in with no introduction and demanded to meet the famous popular Hachijo Toya. We probably crossed paths several times. If just one of those had worked out, if we had been able to meet, just how much would my life have changed? But this was fate. God had decided that a few decades were needed before the siblings' reunion. And during that time, my brother became one half of a mystery novelist. I became a writer of the venture for novels for children. You could see we achieved a success inside the birth society. My brother and I reunited to becoming successful. Now I could thank God for bringing about this miracle. Maybe it was God's will that we would be reunited after achieving success as a novelist. Back then I was nameless, so I never got through to you. We met now because we both became famous authors. I think all this was God's will. At the time, we heard through the publishing company that you wanted to have an interview with us. They said a fan who discovered Itukukuro's true identity wanted to talk to her. You must have dozens of fans dying for an interview. You couldn't possibly go to meet all of them. No, they let us know that your name was Ushimiya Ange, and at the time, I had already realized that Toya's true name was Ushimiya Battler, so I thought you should be given a chance to meet him. I refused. My brother said that to me. What did you say? I refused because I didn't want to meet you. Once more, my brother spoke clearly. I was completely confused. I could probably sit there in shock and silence, waiting for the words that were sure to follow. I believe I already mentioned that Toya suffered from memory loss, and then one day, why did you refuse when you knew it was me? I cut through Ikuko's words and questioned him directly. What reason could my brother have for rejecting me? I couldn't think of anything. That unpleasant emotion brought up long-forgotten feelings of anger inside of me. You must have known that your little sister was living all alone, being crushed by loneliness, so why? Why did you refuse to meet me? My brother hung his head. It seemed more like he was lost for words and apologetic. There was something shy about his appearance, and I questioned him again in an even louder voice. When I asked for an appointment with Hachijo Toya, Itukukuro's was already famous as a forger. Why did Itukukuro's forgeries reach the truth? It's obvious. My brother Ushimi Battler explained to her what happened on the island in detail, so the appearance of Itukakuro proves that my brother's memory had returned. Therefore, he couldn't excuse himself by saying that he didn't remember me. In fact, in reality, he didn't even try to make excuses. On the contrary, he openly said that he refused to meet me, even though he knew who I was. Looking back, I regret what I did. You regret it. Did you ever try to think about how I felt for decades, for most of my life? Do you even realize what feelings I had to live with? Various emotions swelled up inside of me. I realized that I wasn't in control of them anymore. I could only moan to prevent myself from saying something I regret. I felt deeply ashamed for doing something so cruel to you. That's why I searched for you ever since then. For your sake and for mine, I should have met you much earlier. Then why wouldn't you meet me then? My Skodabuki, as I said before, his memory was damaged. Or perhaps I should say his brain was damaged. It's an after effect of the accident, but his memory came back just the same, didn't it? Yes, his memory came back. However, that did not remove the after effects of the damage. I have Ushamiya Battler's memories, however, because of the damage to my brain. I can't think of those as my own. Can't think of those as your own. Yes, it's true that my memory of my escape from the island is still hazy. However, I remember almost everything now. It's like how those pink hair ornaments of yours that you treasure so much were something I won for you at the game corner in that amusement park. Yes, that's right. They're a treasure from when I was a child. I still keep them with me in my handbag. I remember a lot more besides that. I remember you giving Mom trouble because you hated eating seaweed. I remember that you tried to move it to my plate and trick her. And when, if you remember that much, why can't you think of those as memories as your own? That's the result of damage to my brain. I've been to several hospitals, but it didn't do any good. You probably can't understand it. You can't know how painful it is that your mind is suddenly filled with the memories of a man you don't know. Hell, he was terrified that he wasn't himself anymore. His mind was filled with the memories of a man he didn't recognize, and they threatened to crush and overwhelm him. They must have been his own lost memories. However, his brain couldn't accept those as his own. Those days were painful, terrifying, and it felt like my mind was being invaded. Tonight, when I turn off the lights and go to sleep, maybe I will never wake up again. Maybe a different man will wake up tomorrow morning and start living life in my body. I can't count the nights that this terror tormented me. Sometimes he tried to convince himself that they were his real memories. He told himself that he was Ushamiya Battler over and over again. But nothing worked. I am me, Hachijo Toya. No matter how much Ushamiya Battler's memories flow into my mind, to me they're the memories of another person. I couldn't accept Ushamiya Battler. As Ushamiya Battler said this, he hung his head and his eyes turned red. Then one day when he cut between himself and the other self he couldn't accept, and he had a fit. But fortunately his life was spared, and the after effects forced him to spend his life in a wheelchair. You mean he... Now I know why he showed up in that wheelchair, and now I know why he refused to meet with me. He was afraid that I would call him Big Brother, and he was terrified of meeting me, fearful that part of himself that wasn't him would grow still further in his mind. Even so, he fought. He felt that since Ushamiya Battler was inside him, his responsibility was to meet you. Thinking that, he kept on fighting in the space between his two selves. Then he had a fit. After something like that, it was only natural that Ikuko would tell him that he didn't remember. You need to remember Ushamiya Battler anymore. Okay, guys, give me 1 second. Okay, guys, I am back. Bit by bit, he tried to forget that he was once Ushamiya Battler. Doctor's instructions and medication. With that and Ikuko's diligent care, he slowly began to regain his peace of mind. Even so, I thought I would have to meet you sooner or later. To be honest, I didn't get a wink of sleep last night. I was scared of meeting you. And my dog's trying to get into my lap. Great. If I met you, would I die? Yes, I was afraid. However, I am here talking to you normally. That's why I regret what I did. If only I could have met with you earlier. You and the Ushamiya Battler inside of me might not have had to suffer all those years. Just thinking that makes me feel so sorry. As the one who was once Ushamiya Battler said this, he broke down crying. I already understood, so it really was true. Ushamiya Battler did die that day. After all, then, that would you say that he was dead so often with the red truth? How pathetic for the Witch of Resurrection, the Witch of the Future, who swore that everyone would be together always. Toya-san, please raise your head. And Miss Kotobuki, they realized why I had called him Toya-san. By calling him that name, I myself felt that agitation in my heart subside a little. Thank you. You must have suffered so much. I thank you, Mr. Toya. Thank you, Nissan. Thanks for pushing yourself so hard to come here today. Holding hands, we brought our foreheads close and cried together for a while. Then we talked of the old days. He remembered many things vividly, and even things that I couldn't remember myself. Each time they made me cry harder and harder, and he hung his head apologetically. I realized how much this must have hurt him, so I kept nodding in encouragement with a strange look on my face within between a sob and a smile. Even if he is an Ushamiya Battler, my Oni-chan came back to me. Welcome home, Oni-chan. That's still a sad ending, though. What the hell? It had already gotten dark outside. Oh, it's not over, okay. Even though he had came from far away, he was willing to stay this as late as this. We left the store. It's probably best if we don't meet with Mr. Toya again. It will cause him pain, and of course I'll find myself bound to past again. Even so, just one more time, there was one place I felt I had to show him. Mr. Toya, would you mind meeting me just one last time? There's a place I feel I need to show you. Sure, I don't mind. From my handbag, I pulled an invitation written on a folded up piece of A4 paper. A pair of them spread it out nice. My, now this looks like a splendid event. Come to think of it, you have been involved in a lot of things besides novels, haven't you? Would you lend me your time just once more on that day? That way I think both me and my brother will be satisfied. I think it almost might be a chance for you to free yourself from the weight of my brother's memory, Mr. Toya. I don't believe we have any plans for then, as long as we can finish the afterword for the book. Okay, Miss Kotobuki, we'd be happy to join you. Thank you, Mr. Toya. The cold October night was a reminder that winter was approaching. The two who called themselves Hachijo Toya visited the city once again by Angie's invitation. A car stopped in front of a large building. It could go unfolded the wheelchair at the practice hand, who leaned his shoulder to Toya as he got out of the passenger seat and helped him into the chair. It looks splendid. The Fukuen House. It's my first time coming here, but I know it well. I believe it's an institution for children that was funded by the Ushimiya family. Madame Ikugo, Mr. Toya, allow us to welcome you to the Fukuen House. They were welcomed by Andrew and some staff members. This was the Fukuen House, a welfare institution for unfortunate children who had lost their parents. In the past, that institution had been established thanks to Ushimiya Kinzo's support. However, that support had been interrupted, and the Fukuen House had been forced to shut down for a time. Decades passed, and now the institution will be revived by the hand of Kotobuki Yukari. It's a pleasure to see you again, Miss Kotobuki. Thank you for inviting us. The two of us want you to have this. It's not much, but I hope the children enjoy it. It's not the reason I invited you here. My apologies. Don't worry about that. The tales of the future are always woven by children. After all, without them, the tale of humans will not continue. Children are a treasure, so please let this be useful. Thank you very much. We have a form for donations, so if it isn't too much trouble. The Fukuen House has been drastically remodeled in recent years. The hopes that children will one day be able to remember this as a fun place. Anne used her own money to massively remodel it into a beautiful establishment. By now she had accumulated a lot of wealth as a novelist, but even without that, she had been saving the tens of millions of yen she got from the Ushimiya group each year under the name of the living expenses. This money had been used generously to help the children. When they came to the entrance hall, a cheerful scene was spread before them. There were pictures and crafts created by children. Every corner was filled with things on display. The contrast between this elegant building and the school atmosphere was amusing. The yells and laughter of kids running around drifted from the distance. I imagine that many of the children come here hanging their heads in sorrow. To think that they could laugh like that, you really have done something great. And anyone can use magic to create a future and find their fragment of happiness. This is a witch's school for teaching that magic. The witch's dormitory from Secretaro's Great Adventure. Oh, how embarrassing. So you read it too. We read straight through it right after our last meeting. I really must bow my head not only to your talent as a writer, but to warm your heart. How embarrassing. This way straight to the end. Pushing Toya's wheelchair, we advanced through the corridor and reached the great doors at the end. The happy voices of children came from the other side. Apparently this is where tonight's party was being held. There were several jack-o'-lanterns cut out of the origami. Tonight was the Fukuen's house Halloween party. Here you are, Mr. Toya. I see, so it's a trick-or-treat. He was sending a bag filled with candy. A teacher warned him in a small voice to watch out for rampaging children. Children haven't had anything to do with them for years. Please tell the children stories of dreams. All of us welcome guests here. That's tricky. What should I tell them? When you're handing in your manuscript, choose your publishing company wisely. Don't pay any attention to reader polls. Then I'll open the doors. The children are waiting. And open the large double doors. Ooh, is this the mansion? This is the sight of the hall. Toya opened his mouth in a wide-eyed shock. This was the great hall of the Ushimiya mansion. No, that's impossible. This is definitely the Fukuin house, but its hall is just like the one in Rokujima Mansion. What a splendid hall. This is a replica of the hall in the Ushimiya Mansion on Rokujima. Yes, I've reproduced it as well as my memory would let me. The details might be wrong, though. No, this is the hall of the Ushimiya family mentioned on that day. And then Toya's eyes fixed on something on the other side of the room. It was a portrait of Rokujima's other master. It's exactly the same as my memories. The artist hired by Ushimiya Kinzo to paint the portrait had a photo. I had him draw it again based on that. I was simply frozen in shock. The long, large table was filled with Halloween party food and surrounded with children stuffing themselves. The teacher said, "Everyone, we have guests." The children all looked at us once and stood up and ran forward. Their broad smiles at the arrival of this long-awaited guest enveloped me. Their smiles and eyes of children welcomed me. Yeah, I know all your faces. It's been so long, far too long. I'm finally here at last. Wait. Okay. So, did she go back to that Halloween party memory thing? Wait, fuck me. Okay. You kept me waiting, Battler. Sorry, we showed up pretty late. What are you doing sitting in a wheelchair like that? Come on, I'll give you a hand so straighten up. Bito stepped forward and held out a hand to Battler as he sat in the wheelchair. Battler slowly grabbed that hand. I didn't get... Anyways, Listen, all of us finally gathered here. Tonight the Golden Light will be reserved in this place. An explosive applause greeted Battler. Everyone was there. Everyone. Then Bito hugged Battler strongly and tightly as though she would never let him go. It's truly amazing that you made it back. I'm home. Sorry it took so long. So now he's back to normal Battler now? What? I won't let go again. Yeah, I'm not letting go either. We'll be together for all eternity. Okay, yeah, that just confuses me, but okay. So now he's back to normal Battler, and now they're in the Golden Land with all each other, and led them there to be together. Oh, okay. I mean, I don't really care much for that ending. You know, looks like this is probably finally it, unless some kind of hidden thing comes out after this for completing everything. So yeah, took a really time to get me to finish this, because, you know, it takes time to make it, to get to a good stopping point in each video on this game or visual novel. It takes a good, you know, hour or so, and, you know, it's just hard to find a good hour where I can just sit there and just record. And, you know, some days I was just too tired, so I could have finished this a long time ago, but this took me a really long time to finish. If I was stupid like I was in the first Umineko, about a year or so ago, why I didn't do any of the tea parties, I didn't realize how important the tea parties were until near the end. So I guess this is I don't even know the point putting credits because I don't know what any of this says. You would think that Manga Gamer would at least make English versionized credits. Well, I guess this is finally over. I can't skip the credits or anything. I mean, I guess they do deserve to be properly credited, but you know, what's the point when you don't understand anything? Zaki, Ground Boss Butcher. Hey, I mean, I'm also kind of disappointed a little bit that this is over. I mean, especially whenever I put like, if you put like this first Umineko and this Umineko that I did together, it would be like almost 100 videos. And if I actually did do the tea parties in the first Umineko visual novel, I would have hit 100 videos if you put it both together. So the credits are over. So that this is finally over. The next Higurashi actually came out last week. I already have it bought. I just never got around to doing it because I was still doing this. So yeah, it'll be like the sixth Higurashi visual novel. I offer up this tale to be my beloved witch Beatrice. Oh shit! Is there still more? Post-credit scene. The witch is prepared to get for you tonight. Oh. Music box. I guess that just lets you obviously just pick through all the different songs and whatnot. Play scary tunes only. Yeah, that's neat. Anyways, yeah, next video, guys, will be the new Higurashi visual novel that Manga Gamer finally put out on Steam after a year of waiting. So yeah, thanks for watching Umineko, guys. Like I said, if you guys want to buy it for yourselves, it'll be in the description. Especially since I didn't do the tea parties in the question arcs of this. Yeah, I mean, it'll be kind of pointless now because, you know, we're already done with all of it. But yeah, I mean, you know, you might not like the way I pronounce words. You might like how fast I talk or how slow I talk or how much I mess up. So yeah, just buy it for yourself, guys. Support Manga Gamer, support the creators and all that stuff, and buy it. It's a really good read. And especially with it being so long, if you wait a long time to reread it again, it's like reading it all over again almost. Anyways, guys, yeah, I'm gonna end it here. No point in pushing it any further. Thanks for watching my Umineko videos. It's long journey finally over. See you guys next time.